We're going to talk to the head coach of the Grinnell Tigers. Those Tigers going to state, and we've got Steve Kriegel with us. And, Coach, this has been a kind of an up and down year, and my golly, the Tigers in the state tournament, I guess there were some probably low points along the way. You thought that had never happened, and at the high points, they looked good enough to be there.
Well, that's certainly true, Jerry. Probably after the Pella ball game, as I told our players, I said it's hard to forget a game like this as we enter the tournaments, but the one thing that we needed to do in the tournaments was have that patience we've looked for all year and rebound, and I think we were a good shooting team. That's taken care of itself for the most part during the season. If we can just have patience and hit the boards, that some good things will happen, and I think our kids all year had confidence that when tournament time came, if we played good basketball, there was an opportunity there, and we were able to capitalize on that opportunity.
Steve, how many years have you been in the school system now?
This is my 9th year in Grinnell.
All right, and over that period of time, we've seen you with just about every duty you could imagine as far as boys' sports are concerned.
Well, that's certainly true, Jerry. When I first came to Grinnell, I coached 4 sports, and of course I was single at that time, which has a lot to do with it. But we went from 4 to 3 to now to 2, and some people have questioned, it's a pretty tough job to be the head football and head basketball coach. But I approach it from the standpoint that I really work hard at those 2 sports for 6 months, and then I have 6 months off.
All right. You were the sophomore coach a few years ago.
That's certainly true. In 1978, when Grinnell went to the state tournament, I was a sophomore coach at that time, and so I'm somewhat familiar with the atmosphere and that goes with getting to the state tournament. But I told our kids, once you get there Tuesday night and the feeling that is going to occur as far as you're actually there, I guess, is reality, and we're still kind of in a dream world here saying, has it really happened?
Yeah, I guess a little unusual that all 3 coaches, and we're going to find out a little bit later when we talk with the assistant coaches, that they were at the state tournament as players, and you've been at the state tournament as a coach before. Now all 3 of you have joined together and are going back and taking this group of young men. Steve, the group of young men, what can you attribute to their success here down? Is it just patience, or are they working a little harder? It seems like they've kind of come together, even as a group of young men.
Well, I think, Jerry, it's kind of a mystery team this year because I know we all had set our expectations a little bit higher during the regular season that we would play better basketball, and in the back of my mind, I know that's the thing that really puzzled me, was that we were a better basketball team than what we had showed for most part during the season. And during the tournament, a lot of the things that I saw in practice, or a lot of the things that I felt could happen to this basketball team have happened, such as a Kevin Dixon being able to really come on offensively, a John Axmer and a Joe Miller to hit the boards, and a Lynn Mergen to play solid defense and try to hold down their top scorer, and a Brad Harris to handle the ball and hit the open shot when it's there consistently. And those things have all happened in tournaments, and I don't know the reason behind it, but I think one reason might be that all of a sudden our seniors realize that might be their final ball game of the year, so the patience really showed as a result that they knew that each game had to be played as a tight ball game.
All right, now if our listeners will exhibit a little patience, we'll be back to talk with Steve Kriegel in just 1 minute. We're going to find out a little bit more about Steve. We're talking with Steve Kriegel, head coach of the Grinnell Tigers, and going to state. Let's take a look at Steve's background. Now, you sure haven't traveled too many miles, Steve, to get a head coaching job from high school years.
No, that's certainly true, Jerry. I graduated from Central College, and at that time, when I got out of school, I spent 2 years at Burlington. My high school coach was Don Gibbs, who's had excellent basketball teams at Burlington High School, so I had a nice connection there. I met Ray Boyd in the summer, going to summer school, and Grinnell had an opening. And of course, being from Tama, it was like coming back home in a sense, or at least I was close to home. And at the time, I thought, maybe I'll go to Grinnell for a year or two and see what happens. And now it's 9 years later, and I'm still in Grinnell.
All right, I still see pictures of Steve Kriegel up in the trophy case at South Tama.
Yeah, the only thing that's changed probably, Jerry, is I have a little less hair and have gained a few more pounds.
All right. If I'm not mistaken, you played some tennis up there as well as maybe other sports.
Yeah, I don't know. One time I did have a football picture up there because we had a very solid football team when I was a senior. I think we were 8-1, And in basketball, we were 12-8, but at the time we were in a division where we usually had to bump heads with Marshalltown, so our tournament season usually ended up being a short one. But I played 4 sports in high school, and in college had an opportunity to play 3 for a couple of years, which was kind of rare at that time. But yeah, sports has been very good to me, and certainly it's been a big part of my life.
All right, now you fell in the same trap I did. You came to Grinnell, and all of a sudden you end up getting married. Same thing happened to me. So Grinnell do that to you?
Well, it must be. You know, it took a while for my wife to finally propose to me, but when she did, yeah, we got married. But no, that's been a solid relationship too, and so a lot of good things have happened to me in Grinnell, and of course this one has to stand right near the top. Of course, with marriage being number 1 and state tournament number 2.
All right, and kids have to come in there too.
Well, that's certainly true. Our daughter Laura will be 3 next month, and she's going up Tuesday. So for her, that'll be a big surprise. She's never seen a ball game like that, and we had a little boy that will be 6 weeks old next week, and he certainly doesn't know what's going on, but he knows there's a lot of excitement at home, and of course that makes it even that much more special.
All right. Well, Steve, I know everybody's going to be rooting for you, and I guess before we bring this interview to a close, we got to talk about 2 special people that I think have put more miles on the family car, and that'd be your folks.
Well, that's certainly true. Many times, like I tell them, they know kids, what has happened in a ball game many times more than a few of the parents, because they follow every game, home and away. The Sharps and the Kriegels jump in a car and away they go, and they have followed me now, well, ever since the high school days. So, yeah, I'd like to have a penny for every mile they've tacked on a car, Jerry.
Well, Coach, I hope we've got a lot of miles out of the Tigers this week at the state tournament, and wishing you the very best of luck. It's been fun chatting with you, and let's get those Tigers ready for a win.
Well, we certainly will, Jerry, and thank you for the opportunity to interview our players, and it's certainly been a special season for us.
Steve Kriegel, head coach of the Grinnell Tigers, going to state. We're going to get to meet the assistant coaches here, as, by golly, we're going to let them go to the state tournament, too, along with those Grinnell Tigers. We'll talk first of all with Paul Phillips, a guy that's had, I guess, the reigning hand over that junior varsity and has been the assistant coach all season long. And, Paul, these young men, boy, we've seen them through some up times, some down times, and we're really riding the high crest right now.
Hey, this has been a fantastic year, Jerry, and talk about the highs and lows. There's been some awfully low moments in the season, but right now I think we're riding on the real crest.
We might talk about your background in basketball, too, and go back a couple of years. You're a Grinnell Tiger.
I sure am, and I'm very proud to be associated with the Grinnell Tiger basketball program. Yeah, a couple years ago, way back in '54, I was lucky enough to be part of a Grinnell Tiger basketball team that went to the Sweet 16. And I've coached 17 years in the Grinnell system, either as junior high or system varsity. And it's been a lot of enjoyable times, and I'm real happy to have been part of it.
Now you're back as an assistant coach watching another set of Grinnell Tigers go to the state tournament, and this is a group you've had an active hand in coaching. You've coached a lot of things here, Paul, over the years. They've drawn on your talents to junior high for teams and junior high athletic director. My golly, I don't think there's been anything except maybe girls basketball you haven't coached.
I've had hand in track and basketball and football at the junior high level and the high school basketball. It's all been a lot of fun.
All right, now, I suppose back home there's some folks you missed a few meals with, and we ought to kind of salute them a little bit. They're the folks that either miss daddy or husband when he's out with the ball club.
I tell you, there's a good many evenings that the kids and the wife at home wonder where Dad's disappeared to. But you know, my wife Shirley has been 100% for the basketball and the athletic program and Grinnell, and the 4 kids at home, they've always been quite patient with Dad, and thank goodness. My daughter Kelly, who's was a former Grinnell Tiger cheerleader for a couple of years, and boy Fred at sophomore level now, and I've got a gal in 6th grade and a gal in 4th grade. They'll all be up there Tuesday evening cheering on the Tigers.
All right, now, you being a Grinnell Tiger yourself, we mentioned you married a Grinnell Tiger, another one, an area girl.
Oh, yes. My wife is a Grinnell High School graduate, Shirley Dodson, and I guess it's just kind of a big family outing now. I'm sure there'll be some couple nephews who are at Grinnell High School now. I'm sure they'll be there also.
Well, Paul, we're going to wish you and those Grinnell Tigers the best of luck, and thank you for giving us a little insight on a guy that's been a Tiger for a long, long time. And I guess we got another Tiger that went to state and is going to go there as a coach also. Maybe we better talk with him. But thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Jerry. It's been a real pleasure being associated with these young men going to state this year. We're going to have a super time, and I don't know, right now I feel like we're going to come back with at least one, if not two, maybe three victories.
All right. Well, there's Paul Phillips. We're going to talk with another assistant coach. That's up next, right after this. Well, we got another Grinnell coach here, a sophomore coach and one of the varsity assistants. And we just got through talking with Paul Phillips. Now we're going to talk with Scott Sharp. And Paul was a Grinnell Tiger athlete, went to the state tournament. We got another Grinnell Tiger athlete that went to the state tournament as a player also, now coming back as a coach, Scott Sharp. And Scott, I guess this got to be kind of a double thrill.
Well, yeah, it is. It brings back a lot of memories. I'm just so pleased for these kids to be able to experience something like this.
All right, now you experienced it as a player just a few years ago, and you're probably, that thrill is a little closer to you than maybe Paul's thrill was back in the 50s. What's a bigger thrill? Now, I really suppose being a player has got to be a little bit bigger thrill, but I think there's probably a lot of satisfaction seeing these young men go.
Yeah, back in '78, it was a lot of fun, and I'll always remember the whole week we had up there at Des Moines when we stayed there. But also, you look out here on the practice floor. We were with these kids every night during the year and everything, and as far as a satisfaction standpoint, it just makes me really feel pretty good when you can take and look at the season we went through, and then how it's all kind of come together and peaked at the right time here.
All right, now your role has been basically with the sophomores, but you've been helping a lot with the varsity too in their practices. Sophomore season had to be a great year.
Oh yeah, it was. It was very enjoyable. It's a great group of kids to work with. We really got some things well done this year, and I was very well pleased with the whole situation.
All right, let's kind of introduce everyone to your family now, because golly, you're not so far removed that everybody doesn't know who your family is.
Well, my family as of right now, I guess, is my wife Lisa, who live here in town, and my folks are Delmer and Norma Sharp. They live out a few miles northwest of Grinnell, and I've got a brother, Kurt, who is a senior at Central College this year, and my sister Tracy is a sophomore at Iowa State University.
All right, are they all going to be able to kind of gather in Des Moines to see this action Tuesday?
Well, I know my wife and my folks are going to make it for sure, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see the other two up there also.
All right, I know they were there cheering you on when you were a player, so I suppose they got a little bit of rabid fan there in their blood, don't they?
Oh yeah, I think my folks, I'm not sure they've missed a game since I was, in 6th or 7th grade, so I know it's kind of in their blood, and they're really looking forward to the trip up there. And I know any time it seems like one of the family is associated with something, like going to the state tournament, all the other members of the family are always right there to support them anyway. So.
All right. Your position here is not within the school system to start with, is it?
No, that's correct. I work a full week out of Grinnell Mutual also, and then just do this after work.
All right. Well, I guess the ability or the change in the law that gives folks like you a chance to do that has to be kind of put a smile on your face. You get to probably get the best of both worlds, don't you?
Well, that's I've been approached by a lot of people as to what I think about the whole situation, and I really it's really given me great experience here in being able to do this. Like you said, it's kind of the best of two worlds.
Well, we certainly enjoyed having you as a coach for the sophomores. Hope that we see you around next year with those Grinnell athletes, because we know you got a good sets of values there to pass on to those young men. I guess we got one thing across to them, and that's going to state tournaments fun. And if you and Paul Phillips haven't taught them anything, I know that's probably one of the first things, and they learned that anyway. So we're glad that to see you on the bench, and hope that maybe we can guide these young men to a victory.
Yeah, we're gonna we'll do the best we can the other night. We got a pretty good seed, a pretty good draw, and we're gonna be ready to go after them.
All right, well, there's your look at the assistant coaches. We thank Paul Phillips and Scott Sharp for their comments. We've met the assistant coaches for Grinnell Mutual Reinsurance Company. Well, we're going to talk with another one of those Grinnell Tigers going to state. We've got Joe Miller with us now. And, Joe, you kind of come to us with kind of a varied background. We saw you start to play your basketball in high school up at South Tama, and now you come down for your, final year of eligibility with the Grinnell Tigers. And I guess as you look at it, it's kind of worked out well for you. You might have lost a year of eligibility, but you gained a trip to the state tournament. You got to be kind of pleased about that.
Yeah, it's a real privilege to go to a state tournament. It's everybody's dream in high school. We've really worked hard as a team this year to get there, and that was our goal at the end of the year, is to finish the best we could in the conference. And if we couldn't finish top there, we was going to head our way to the state, and that's what happened.
All right, now let's find out a little bit about Joe Miller here, and I know that some of the folks would like to become acquainted with your family, and I know you got a mom that lives up around South Tama.
Yeah, she lives home there, and I live up here in Grinnell. It's kind of a deal where my brother takes care of me now. And his name's Earl. He's a really nice guy. It's just I don't know how to really put it.
Well, what's your mom's name? Let's introduce her to your mom, and I know you've had some brothers and sisters who played up at South Tama, so they'll know who your mom is and what's her name.
My mom's name is Patricia Miller. She was married to Earl, and then well, incident happened, and then brother took over as guardian. So and Earl, he drives the truck over the road, and when he tries to come home, and he usually makes her to my ball games and stuff like that. He gives me all the support I need, and I really appreciate him for that. My mom too, she comes up here to my ball games and watches my ball games too. And I got to hand it to my sister, Amy. She comes up here when she has to. My brother Glenn, he's worked with me ever since I was a little kid, and his dream was my dad's dream was for everybody, one of our kids and one of our boys, to make it to state, and all three of us done it. So.
I was going to say, if I remember back, Earl played on that South Tama County team that made it a few years ago.
Yep, that's right. 79. Glenn and Earl both on that team, and ever since then, when I've seen the excitement they got, boy, I tell you, that gives me just that much more of a boost to make my way to state. They've had so much fun going there, they said. So.
Well, I'd have to say that's quite an accomplishment for three boys in the family to all make it to the state tournament, and I guess you didn't let your older brothers down. You helped get the Tigers there. We're talking with Joe Miller. We're going to be back and talk a little bit more about Joe and find out about his likes and dislikes, but first let's pause for this word. All right, Joe, let's find out a little bit more about you. Now, academically, we got you as a junior in high school, and let's look at maybe your favorite classes. Do you have some likes as far as activities are concerned? Do you do something other than basketball?
Well, I took electronics 1. Mr. Bailey, he's a pretty good teacher. He was a really nice guy. Now I got Mr. Penny for history class, and he's a super nice guy. I just done a report today, and it was on a book, and I asked him, what the author's name was, because he really didn't know either. It wasn't even said in the book. He's a pretty nice guy too. I'm pretty sure I'll get a pretty decent grade on that report. And let's see. For classes, I like history. That's one of my better classes.
Do you play any other sports besides basketball?
Yeah, I played football in Tama. When I was a punter, I averaged 40 yards per kick. And when I came here to Grinnell, I found out that I couldn't play football. So maybe if I come back next year and be able to play, I'll go off football and basketball next year.
All right. Well, it sounds like you've got a few things in mind. How about after school? Any idea about what you want to do?
I was thinking about going to college. I got to get an education in college, and maybe if I'm lucky, I could play some sports. I don't know what yet, but my main goal is to get a good education, get a good job. That's what I want to do.
All right. Any special area that you like more than others, or just going to wait and see what happens?
Just going to wait and see what happens.
All right, Joe. Well, good luck to you. We've enjoyed watching you play for the Grinnell Tigers, and my golly, the third brother in a row to go to the state tournament. You got to be pleased with that, and we hope the best for you.
Thanks a lot.
There's Joe Miller, another one of those Grinnell Tigers going to state. Going to meet another one of those Grinnell Tigers going to state. We're going to meet Kevin Dixon for Sandy School of Dance here in Grinnell, and let's talk with Kevin Dixon, one of the guys that makes this Tiger team click. And Kevin, you've been one of the mainstays for the team all through the season, but you seem to have a little special mission when the tournaments have come. You're playing your best basketball.
Well, yeah. I suppose it's because I'm a senior, and I was thinking when we first played Carlisle, our first tournament game, that I didn't want this to be my last game, so I gave it all I got. I just wanted to play again, so I'm just going to go into each game thinking like that, just think I don't want this to be my last game, so
just give it all I got.
All right. You're the kind of a guy that gives it all you got in all the sports that you're out for, and you're out for quite a few.
Yeah, I'm out for football in fall and then track. So track team's already started practicing. That's kind of an advantage going to state. You don't have to practice track. But then baseball during the summer.
All right. Now, let's see. Football team, you're a quarterback. What's your specialty in track?
Oh, sprints, I suppose.
All right. And for baseball?
Pitcher and first base.
Well, certainly a busy guy, and probably going to be having a letter jacket full of letters by the time you graduate. Kevin, what else do you do in school? Is there anything that you like to do besides athletics?
Oh, well, not really anything besides just going to school and then athletics, but being with my friends, I suppose.
Anything you do special in your time off, or is that time off usually involve getting together with the guys and shooting baskets or something?
Yeah, just being with the guys or watching TV, I suppose. Just, I don't have much free time, but when I get it, I just like to relax.
All right, now you're a senior, and that means that next year you've got to start making decisions on what happens after you graduate.
Yeah, I still haven't decided where I'm going to go to college yet, but probably one of the Iowa Conference schools, one of those schools.
Anything special that you have in mind that you're pointing towards?
You mean like in schools?
Like a vocation? Or?
No, I haven't decided on my major yet, but I'm looking at Wartburg and Central and Simpson and maybe Grinnell College.
Well, those are certainly, I guess, schools that are a little closer to home and give you an opportunity maybe to play some sports. Do you have that in the back of your mind that maybe you'd like to play some sports in college?
Yeah, I'm looking at the small college to have a chance to play sports and nearby too, so my parents can see me play if I do play.
All right, we're talking with Kevin Dixon. We'll be back and find out about his parents and find out about his folks and all of the other things that we haven't found out yet about Kevin Dixon. But first, let's pause for this word from Sandy's School of Dance. Well, Kevin, let's meet your family now. I know you've got some brothers and sisters there to talk about, and tell us about them.
Well, I got a brother. He's in 9th grade. He doesn't go out for sports much, but he's kind of an outdoorsman, I guess. And
you got to tell me his name now.
Oh, Randy, of course, Randy. I got a sister who goes to Arizona State, Rhonda. She'll be a senior this year at Arizona State. And my mom and dad, Sandy and Larry. My dad's, of course, principal at high school, and my mom's a dance teacher. And I guess I want to say that I called my sister and told her to come up for the tournament, but she said that was kind of impossible. She didn't have much money, but...
Sure. Sometimes that happens when you're a college student. You learn now, if your brother gets into something like that, you'll be closer to home in that Iowa Conference. You'll be able to do that. Kevin, certainly have enjoyed watching you and your high school career, and I know that this has certainly got to be one of the most important points in your athletic career is being able to go to the state tournament. Any thoughts on that? Any thoughts on the outcome of the ball game?
Oh, well, I guess kind of towards the end of the season, we heard that our district wasn't as strong, and so we kind of thought that maybe we have a good chance of going to the state tournament, but it really wasn't anything that we would think would really happen. But after it happened, we just can't believe it, and now we're playing in the state tournament, and we just hope we do the best against Wapsie Valley.
All right. Well, good luck to you and the Grinnell Tigers. Have a good time down there, but most important, keep your nose to the grindstone, and it's a lot more fun if you get a victory because you get to come back for 2 more games, and so good luck against Wapsie Valley.
Thank you.
There's Kevin Dixon, one of the Grinnell Tigers going to state. There's another look at the Grinnell Tigers. This report brought to you by Sandy's School of Dance in Grinnell. We're going to meet another Grinnell Tiger. This report brought to you by your area Pioneer seed dealer, George Axmere of Malcolm. And by golly, we're going to meet Big John on the basketball team, John Axmere. And John, you're an athlete that we've had a lot of fun watching come out for basketball over the years. This senior year seems to be your best ever. You've kind of worked your way into being a pretty dandy center.
Well, thank you, Jerry. I don't know. This whole summer, Kriegel said just work on it and you'll be able to improve. So this whole summer, every time I just go out and shoot the basketball, and worked out for me this senior year, and I've really improved this year, I think.
All right, you get the nod as the most improved, John, and that inside touch seems to come pretty natural. In fact, you worked into being the best field goal shooter on the basketball team. Now, this is one sport. I know we've seen you in some others.
Yes, I've been in football, but basketball is probably my most excelled now. That I think I've worked at it hard enough that this will probably be my best.
All right, have we seen you baseball and track teams in years past?
Well, baseball was when I was younger, but once I got in high school, I thought I didn't think I was going to make it, so I just quit that. I'm in track showing the shot and discus now, and hopefully this year I'll make it to state in that too in the shot.
All right, what's your longest toss?
45.
All right, well, you got probably got a little more muscle and probably will work that distance up, I suppose. What do you got a goal, 50, 52, somewhere in there?
Well, yes, right now, since I've 45 last year, I've improved by 5 feet every year, so it'll be around 50, 52, yes.
All right, well, John, let's meet your family now. Give us a look at the members of your family.
Well, George and Lucy, they just work out on the farm. Lucy now, for years, been working out at reinsurance. My brother's been going to college at Kirkwood Community. My sister's in junior high as an 8th grader, and she's been playing basketball and out for track, maybe in volleyball.
All right, now give us the names of that brother and sister. You gave us your folks' names.
Jerry's my older brother. He's 20, and my sister, she's Karen, and she's 16.
All right. We're meeting John Axmere here, and we're going to be back to talk and see what John likes to do besides play basketball and football and track. We'll be back to do that right after this. John, we know about your academic life. Tell us about the other side of John Axmere. Academically, what are your interests, and have you started thinking about life after high school?
Yes, I have. As well, many people know I've been living on a farm, and that's what all I've been doing out there, is help my dad on the farm, and I plan on going to college, to Ellsworth Community College, to major in business or accounting or some sort like that.
All right. Does that mean that you want to go into some kind of agribusiness, or does that mean that you want to get out of that and get into some other form of business?
No, I think I'll get in some other kind of business. Right now, agriculture ain't the thing to be in right now.
All right. Well, that comes up next year. What about John Axmere's spare time, if you have such a thing? I know you work on the farm, but is there anything you particularly like a hobby, or what you do with your spare time?
No, not really. Whenever I get spare time, since I ain't out for baseball, I go out and support the Tigers in baseball and softball like that.
All right. Well, I guess it's good to be a fan sometimes in the off season, just to kind of relax and lay back. Well, John, we certainly enjoyed watching your athletic career, and congratulations to you on a fine senior year. Let's hope that we hear some more from you on the basketball courts at the state tournament.
Well, thank you, Jerry.
There's John Axmere, Big John, and we certainly enjoyed watching him. We'll enjoy watching him on Tuesday night as they go up against Wapsie Valley, another one of those Tigers going to state. This report brought to you by your area Pioneer seed dealer, George Axmere of Malcolm. We're going to meet another one of those Grinnell Tigers going to state for Grattan Backhoe in Grinnell, serving Powashik, Jasper, Tama, and Marshall counties. We're going to meet Brad Harris. And Brad, hey, good to talk to you again. I guess the last time we chatted, you were, I guess, one of the King candidates for, I guess that was about the last time, one of the King candidates for the homecoming.
That's true. I guess that is the last time I talked to you.
If not in the locker room after the win over Waukee. But, Brad, we get a chance to meet you again, and let's talk about Brad Harris and basketball. Certainly a sport that you seem to take to.
Well, I'm the point guard, and I really enjoy playing it. I played it all through the years, 7th, 8th, on up, and I really enjoy it.
All right, that fits in with some of the other sports. I know it's not the only sport that you're out for.
That's true. I'm out for just about all the sports all year round. Seems like always out for some. In the fall, I'm out for football and basketball during the winter, and then track season's coming up here pretty soon, and then I have baseball in the summer.
All right, now, football, we saw you as a defensive back most of the time, I think. How about track and baseball? Where are we going to see you there?
Well, on track, I suppose Mr. Wagner's our coach, and I think he'll probably stick me in some of those longer distance relays, probably 800s or 400s, and I don't really like them, but I guess that's what I'm fairly good at. And then in baseball, play second base.
All right. One of the hot seats out there is second base, and I guess you're kind of used to being under pressure a bit. We've enjoyed watching you shoot free throws, and been quite a few games as you've been a Grinnell Tiger that those free throws have been important. Stepping up there, you've had the best free throw percentage on the team for quite a while.
Yeah, I have a little routine I guess I go through every time, and I don't know, it looks a little funny on film. I've seen it before, but I think it really I think it helps me. You get a routine down, and it helps.
All right, well, that little ritual keeps putting them through the hoop, and that's all that counts. It doesn't matter what you look like, just count how many. And Brad, let's see how many are in your family. Introduce us to your family.
Well, my mom and dad are Denny and Betty Harris. Then I have just one sister. Her name is Rochelle, and she goes to Iowa State. She's a senior up there.
All right. We're meeting Brad Harris here, and we're going to be back and chat with Brad in just a moment. But first, we're going to pause for this word from Grattan Backhoe and Tiling. Okay, Brad, let's take a look at a little more of the personal life of Brad Harris now. We talked about you athletically. What about academically? And have you got anything in mind after high school?
Well, I plan to go to Iowa State. I'm not sure what I'm going to major in up there, but right now that's open. But I do plan to go up there. And
how about special classes? Any area of interest, or to at least know kind of what direction you want to head?
Oh, I'm still open right now. I'm not really sure. I need to get around and look into that a little closer, I think.
All right. Well, talk about get around to do things. Are there some things other than athletics that you enjoy in your personal time?
Well, I live on the farm, and I enjoy helping my dad. And
he's glad to hear that.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know if I enjoy it, but I do help him. And I'm in 4-H and different things like that.
All right, now 4-H, that's that sure opens up a whole other area. 4-H, have you had livestock projects? What kind of projects over the years have you dabbled with?
Well, I've always had the junior cattle feeders. You never get to actually show them, but that's over rate of gain and different things like that. But then I have shown hogs over the past 3 or 4 years.
All right. Well, I suppose going to Iowa State, if you'd happen to delve into anything like an agriculture, well, you've got that background on the farm, and I guess a background in 4-H that certainly would help you if you happen to head into some vocation in that neighborhood.
Yeah, that's true. Iowa State is very good in agriculture, and if I do lean that way, I'm sure it'll be very good up there.
All right. Well, Brad, any thoughts on the state tournament? That's got to be one of the super highs for you, doesn't it?
Oh, it really is. I know it's going to be a lot of fun, and I don't know the way it looks. I know we can play hard, and we could win our first game. It'd be a lot of fun if we did.
Well, I tell you what, it's going to be fun anyway, but it's a lot more fun to win.
Oh, you bet. If we could win that first one, then we'd automatically, be fourth in the state, and if we get to play a couple more, you never know what could happen.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, we got our fingers crossed, and all those Grinnell Tiger fans are rooting for you. You and the Tigers have a good time at state and work hard.
Okay, thanks a lot, Jerry.
All right, there's Brad Harris, another one of the Tigers going to state. This report brought to you by Grattan Backhoe and Tiling in Grinnell, serving Poweshiek, Jasper, Tama, and Marshall counties. We're going to meet another Grinnell Tiger. Lynn Mergen is our next Tiger up here on KGRN, Cargill production plant of Grinnell on Highway 6 East, bringing us a look at Lynn Mergen. And Lynn, I guess state tournament just around the corner, and that has to be, a pretty pleasing aspect in the athletic life of Lynn Mergen.
Yeah, it's probably the biggest thing that's ever happened to me in my football career, or basketball career, I guess. We worked hard for it, though, and I think we can go quite a ways in the tournament.
Good. That's the attitude you really need when you head into something like that. Of course, you've been in other sports now, and you just alluded to football there for a second ago. Tell us about your athletic career. Now, what different sports do you go out for?
Well, football and then basketball, and into track and baseball, and I like it a lot. It keeps me busy, and it's enjoyable. Most of all, I like to play sports.
I guess when you have sports and an academic life going all at the same time, you got to learn to budget your time.
Yeah, you don't have a lot of time to screw around, I guess, as they say, but It's probably been the most rewarding going out for sports and being in academics and working hard. It keeps you busy and out of trouble.
All right. Now, in football, I guess we saw you, what, as a linebacker?
Yeah, I played middle linebacker this year.
And then we look to, we know you're a guard in basketball or wherever they need you. And how about track? Where are we going to see you there?
I run the high hurdles in track and some sprints and 400s. But
And then in baseball?
shortstop, yeah.
The hot seat, huh?
Yeah, it is.
All right. How about the non-athletic part of your high school life now, the academics or many other activities?
Oh, mostly just school, a lot of schoolwork. I try to get a range of classes as I can to, round out. And I don't know, other than sports, I don't do a whole lot.
Anything in your spare time? When you got some spare time, you like to do anything in particular? You got a hobby? You like the outdoors, or you just like to kick around with the guys, or what?
Yeah, I mostly just go around with the guys, and mostly we just practice or catch a game once in a while, different sports. It's mostly just the guys and I go out and have a good time, I guess.
What after your senior year now, Lynn?
Well, I'll probably be going on to University of Iowa, and right now I'm thinking about majoring in psychology or something in that field.
All right. Well, we're talking with Lynn Mergen. We're going to be back to meet Lynn Mergen's family and find out a little bit more about Lynn here. But first, let's pause for this word. We're talking with Lynn Mergen, another one of the Grinnell Tigers going to state. And Lynn, let's meet your family.
I have a brother and a sister, Keith and Kathy. They're both older than I am. Then my mom and dad, Jan and Ken. And dad works out at Golden Sun and mom works at Cargill. It's kind of just three of us. My older brother and sister are off in Texas, and my brother goes to Iowa State.
All right. He goes to Iowa State, and you're picking Iowa there. That sounds like a built-in family rivalry.
Yeah. Well, my sister went to UNI also, and so I figured I might as well hit all the spots. So we kind of just rounded it out.
Yeah, it sounds like your family might be going through some kind of a traumatic experience. Your parents knowing who to root for on a certain day.
Yeah, my brother likes to root for Iowa State for basketball, and he's an Iowa football fan, but we always get into it when it comes to basketball season about who's the best in the state.
All right. Well, we know who the best in the state is when it comes to basketball and the AA bracket, don't we?
You bet, that's us.
All right. Well, Lynn, you have a good trip to the state tournament now, and we're pleased to meet you kind of up close and personal, and you and the Tigers work hard now.
Yeah, thank you.
There's Lynn Mergen, another one of the Grinnell Tigers, going to state. This report brought to you by Cargill Production Plant of Grinnell on Highway 6 East. Mark Liebeck coming in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time now to meet another Grinnell Tiger. This time we're going to meet Mark Liebeck for Gary Liebeck, your Kansas City Life Insurance agent in Grinnell. And Mark Liebeck, we've got one of the front line with us here now. And Mark, tell us about basketball a little bit. You seem to look like you're having a good time out there.
Oh, you bet. It's really fun. These guys are great to work with too. You know, they're can't get much better guys. You know, a group of guys work really well with them. I think we got good chemistry more than anything. That's probably what helped us through the tournaments.
All right, now you're a junior, and that means that you got another year coming up after this one. And so I guess just as a junior to make the team, and secondly to be going to the state tournament, that's got to be kind of a note of personal pride just to you.
Oh, it really is. I still am overjoyed to be able to go to the tournaments, and to be able to play a little bit, you know, is just fine with me. Be on the team is great, and.
All right, sounds like it's been a good year for you now, and some of the season you saw as a starter, and some of the season you come in and role played as either that fifth or sixth player off the bench, and you certainly got plenty of time to play. How about other sports? Have you got to play some in other sports?
Football, I played a little bit this year. Track last year and baseball last year, I got to play quite a bit because of the absence of a lot of seniors. lot of seniors didn't go out for baseball and track. So I've got a little experience in that, and I'm looking forward to upcoming sport events such as track and baseball this year too.
All right, now track, what are we going to see you running?
Probably mostly 200s, sprints, more or less.
And baseball?
Left field. I started in left field most of the year, last summer, and it's going to be really enjoyable.
All right, and you got a whole full year ahead of you now. Have you started to think about what happens after high school, or are you just sitting back and enjoying your junior and senior years?
More or less just sitting back, enjoying it all. It's really been fun, and I plan on going to college, whether it be a smaller college, maybe play some sport or something, or else I was even thinking Iowa, but that's I don't know, that's a little far out of reach of maybe a sporting event there. But
what about an interest as far as any area of interest? Are you interested in business, or math, or do you like speech activities, or some area that maybe might turn you on when it comes time to pick a college?
Well, I've been leaning really towards the medical area. I want to try to be a doctor. That's why I've more or less chosen Iowa, what I'm working at right now, and going to their pre-med program, and then maybe medicine. Try to be a doctor.
All right. Well, I guess that's a pretty lofty goal. We wish you the best there. We're talking with Mark Liebeck. We're finding out all sorts of things, and we'll be back to chat more. But first, let's pause for this word. With Mark Liebeck now, and well, we just found out about Mark's likes and sporting activities. Now let's meet your family. Mark, members of your family, I know that there's some members in there, and they all have a little inclination to be athletic.
Yeah, I've my younger sister Heidi. She's a 9th grader right now. She's a real good basketball player. And I got a smaller brother Kirk, who's 2nd grade, and he really enjoys basketball. He's always outside playing around. My older brother Scott, who goes to the University of Iowa, he played a lot of basketball. Didn't play much football, but he liked baseball too and track. And he's more or less just taking it easy in college right now. He didn't really have anything with sports as a college is concerned. And then I got my youngest sister, Kristen. She's in 1st grade, and she can't really tell right now.
All right, and who's your folks?
Gary Liebeck and Judy Liebeck.
All right. And how about extra things for you? Now, I know you do a lot of sports activities. Is there anything else that you fill your time with? Do you have a hobby, things you like to do in your spare time, or maybe some activities outside of school that take up some of your time?
Mostly, if I'm not practicing or something, I'm just out with friends, maybe just messing around a little bit with basketball or something over at Davis, and over at the complex quite a bit. That's about it, really.
All right. Well, Mark, we're glad to meet you and find out about you and your family and your, I guess, dreams for the future. I guess one of those dreams would have to be a good trip to the state tournament.
Oh, it really is. I'm still in awe about it. I guess it really won't hit me until we walk inside there Tuesday night, but it'll be really great experience.
Don't get hit too hard now, and keep the head on your shoulders and work hard and come up with a victory.
All right, thank you.
All right, there's Mark Liebeck, another one of the Grinnell Tigers going to state. This report brought to you by Gary Liebeck, your Kansas City life insurance agent in Grinnell. We're going to meet another Grinnell Tiger going to state, Mark Brown, and we're here for Ross's in downtown Grinnell. And Mark Brown is a young man that one of the juniors on the basketball team. And Mark, you've seen some good action throughout the year. If not in the starting role, maybe one of the first to come off the bench.
Yeah, I've got to see a lot of action compared to what I didn't know at the beginning of the season what I would see. And then once I got to play, all I know is I was just there. If the coach needed me to put in the game, I was ready to go.
All right, now you've been somebody we've watched in other sports besides basketball, and you seem to have a lot of stamina and some quickness. So I guess that plays an important part in your role on the basketball team.
Yeah, I have a lot of endurance from running long distance, so I